you know, sometimes you can get into a mindset of, you know, you come to class and then you memorize the combination. As long as you're able to kill it at the end of it, you're good to go, right? Which I think in a
Right.
lot of cases that's helpful depending on the industry that you're in, right? Like let's say you're in
Right.
California, you're in LA, and that's what's required of you. Obviously, that's really really important because you know
Mhm.
you're sort of thriving in that industry. But there are going to be cases where that's different. And so one of the things that I've thought about is okay, um, you know, other than just coming into a class and then let's say you're memorizing it and then you're trying to get the steps or the vocab. One of the things that's been helpful is one, I call this like different ways of learning. I have four of them. And so like, for example, one of them is what I would say is memorization, right? That's like the first step.
Right.
Parang you go to class and you're focused on picking, you know, improving your pickup. How well you memorize the set. And so maybe you don't get the entire set perfect, but you're kind of working on how well you do that. The second thing is I would say is, which I think is probably the most important, is your maturity of movement, right?
Right.
So parang this is now like sort of going into what you were saying, which is like capturing the little nuances of how this person's moving, improving your movement really. Because it like the danger, for example, of memorizing sets and being good at it is that sometimes you can just be a better memorizer and not
Right.
actually improve the way you dance. You know what I mean? This is
Right.
something I really believe in. So let's say that's the second one. So sometimes you might go in and say, all right, I might not memorize the whole set, but I'm coming here to pull some new movement out of it. And then let's say the third thing is what I would call like maturity. I'm sorry. The third thing outside of maturity of movement, this is a performance and execution, right? So this is
Right.
now like yung parang yung X factor, yung energy na parang kasi the first two deals with you as an individual, right?
Right.
You know, you can be a technical dancer basically in that aspect. You can memorize well and you move really well. But if you have no passion, not saying you have no passion, but like
Right.
the way
Right.
you present yourself isn't
Right.
engaging. It's
Mhm.
that little parang X factor when you're watching like a talent show or any competition. Like grabe ang galing.
Right.
Yung run
Parang
nila.
hindi
Mm.
nagsusoothe yung feeling.
Yeah, like there's that woo goosebumps, you know. So yeah,
Right.
performance and execution. And I think for me, the last would be team dynamics, which I think is probably more applicable to when you're doing like a training session with a team. Because
Right.
in class, you're able to sort of focus on yourself as an individual. Those are the first three
Mhm.
factors, right? Memorization, maturity of movement, performance and execution. That deals with you as an individual. But I think when you're now working on team dynamics, you might be good at all three of those. But if you're not aware of your spacing, you're not aware of your blocking, you're not aware of your levels, you're not aware of how your movement relates to everyone else, you know, and sort of like cleaning that up. Like I think that's another, it brings another self-awareness also. So I think
Right.
these are like, I don't know, like these aren't like written in stone. These are just things I've observed. You know, I think people can have that sort of approach when they're trying to learn things, you know.
Right.
When you're going to a class now and instead of thinking what new step you can pull, right? It's more of all
Mhm.
also like what theoretically do I want to improve in terms of my skill sets. But yeah, and I loved our conversation on that because you nailed it right there. It's just kind of like, you know, you have to understand first and foremost when you're going to a class what that goal is going to be.